Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on the quick air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? Good morning to you. Panda just hit me up, says it's 9 a.m. out there in LA. Very familiar with the West Coast, bro. I got a sister in Portland, Oregon. So a lot of times I'll be calling her at lunchtime thinking she's been up for a minute. And she's like, yeah, I just got to work. So what's going on, man? Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to Live at Lunch. Get the opportunity to go live with you. Since I'm on vacation, I'm changing things around a little bit, see what works, see what doesn't, man. So I appreciate your feedback, the times that you like. Trying to build this for you guys, for the audience. So if you like a time better or prefer a time, if you like this noon thing, I'll try to keep us going as best as I can. But as of today, nice day, about 30-something degrees, 31 degrees here. It's supposed to warm up tomorrow, and then it's going to warm up again Thursday before it's raining and everything on Friday. So, and it's still going to be warmer than raining on Friday. So we should be ready to go for Washington and get ready for that. Come off this big win, this finally having a dominant win, man. So hope everybody's doing well this morning. We're going to get into it. Hope everything's good on the left coast, Panda. Appreciate you. Chris Bruce, I appreciate you. Schoolboy 609-215. Yes, sir. Anthony the Jet, appreciate you, bro. Functions in the building. Rod 8672 is in the building. Nina's in the building. Tiffany, as usual, is in the building. Chris 3K, as usual, is in the building. Eagle Goat 88 in the building. What's going on? Happy for everybody being here, man. So let me see. Chris had an early question. Do you think that if Jalen and Tua switch places from where they were drafted, Jalen still has success? I'm only asking because Jalen and Brian Flores would seem to work. That's a great question. In my opinion, no. In my opinion, I think Jalen's a better quarterback than Tua because they both have the same skill set. And I also think it would not have been the same because if Jalen goes to Miami, Miami doesn't have that run game. And it would have been, I don't know. I guess you're asking if Flores would have been out on Jalen Hurts. I can't answer that because Flores was obviously looking for a specific type of quarterback. And I don't know if Jalen would have been there or if Jalen would have been coached up because you got to remember when Jalen got here and when Jalen first started like really playing and people really realizing he had talent, Doug Peterson was still here. So I guess the question would have been who would have been the quarterback coach down there. I think that was a big issue with Brian Flores because maybe he just wasn't seeing what he wanted to see. And I can't answer if he would have saw that in Jalen Hurts, especially having a less than average running game. The running game was okay. I don't think A-Shane was down there yet. I don't think obviously Tyreek Hill wasn't there yet. So that's a good question, man. I never thought about that, but I could see Jalen getting along with Brian Flores because Jalen comes from, with Jalen's dad being a coach and how he goes about his business, to me seems like Brian Flores is in that same mold. So they would have that in common. I think Brian Flores would understand and appreciate Jalen's work ethic and how he goes about his business. Because again, I think Brian Flores does it the same way. Now, Would it end in results, positive results? I don't know. We'd have to see, because now you get back into the regular stuff. What kind of team you got? What kind of offensive line you got? What kind of skill positions you got? Um, so yeah, there's a lot of variables in that. But I think for the most part, I think Brian Flores and Jalen Hurts are kind of the same mindset and personality, like temperament. They are both like about business. Not saying that Tua is not, but I don't know. That's a great question. Great question. Um, Let me see. Please tell me you saw Seth Jordan chew out WIP over Jalen criticism. I did not see that. If this is something new, when did this happen? Was it yesterday? Was it this morning? Because I thought he was on yesterday. So if something happened, I missed it. Let me see if I can. I love Big Bro Seth, man. Seth, like I said, I'm still efforting to try to get him on the show, man. Um, where was it at? If you got a link or something, send me the link. I'm looking on Twitter. Let me see if I can go to WIP, or maybe Ike. Ike has something. Um, Hugh Douglas, Ray, BG. I was so happy BG with got his sacks. Let me see. I don't know. I don't see it. There's Ike. No. Yeah, I haven't seen it. So if you got it, send it to me. If you got it, send it to me. Did the Sixers win last night? I think they lost, right? No? Maxi? Oh, that's the old game. That was a couple days ago, right? Yeah, that was December 4th. Yeah, this is going back too. So I haven't seen anything. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I don't see anything on IP. If you got a link, man, send it. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Let me see. What up, Coach? Missed the last couple of streams. Was sick. Hope you're feeling better, bro. Glad to be up healthy enough to catch this one. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, bro. I'm on vacation to the end of the year, so I'm messing around with different times, trying to do some different things, trying to, mess with my graphics while I have the time. Um, my goal is to get my Christmas shopping done uh, by tomorrow. Got a Christmas party to go to on Friday. Got to smoke some pork shoulder, make some pulled pork. So I'm looking forward to that. Always looking forward to cooking. So yeah, man. So glad you up and about, man. Back on the healthy side, bro. I appreciate you. Function is tapping in from work. What up? No, I appreciate that. Good morning and go Rams. I ain't mad at you, Rod. I ain't mad at you, man. Y'all in the front, but we did get y'all, and we will get you again if it comes to that. So don't get it twisted. So, but talk your talk, man. I ain't mad at you. Good morning, Nina. Appreciate you. What's up, Eagle Gold? So let me see. Any more questions in here? Let me see, Coach. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Have the Eagles been coasting to flip that switch in the playoffs? Nah. Coasting is not the adjective I would use. Coasting is coasting would mean that you got everything well in hand and you just kind of letting the momentum take you, and that's not what we did. Maybe on the defense, maybe, but not on the offense. So if you ain't got it on all three, you can't say that. So we were killing them on defense. We were struggling on offense, and special teams was hit and miss. But I think for the most part, special teams was good. But we just, man, that offense, man, it just takes a lot of pulls on that offense to get that joker started. And hopefully we can keep things and we learn some things and keep it simple and keep going the way we did against the Raiders. Now, you do have a big contingency of people that are going to bitch, moan, and complain because, man, y'all beat the Raiders. You're supposed to beat the Raiders. And then they don't offer nothing. And I'm like, exactly. They are exactly right. It was the Raiders. They're the worst team in football outside of the Browns. But if we don't dominate the Raiders, what does everybody say? Man, y'all couldn't even beat the Raiders soundly. You struggled against them. You did this, you did this. So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But my thing is like, hey, you play the team in front of you. Screw the dumb stuff. You play the team in front of you. If they suck, they suck. But at the end of the day, you still got to handle business. That's the long and short of it. We should have beat Dallas twice, but we didn't because we fumbled the ball away and we did all of that. We should have beat the Chargers, but we fumbled the ball away. We should have beat Denver, but we fumbled the ball away and turnovers and mistakes and all of that kind of stuff. We are our own worst enemy, and hopefully, we've gotten past most of that, and we can put a game together where the offense looks like they're capable. You mean to tell me what we saw against the Raiders, the offense couldn't do that all year? I don't believe that because I saw them do it early in the year. I saw Jalen throw the ball down the middle. We just, for whatever reason, we just didn't. Now, if you want to blame it on Jalen, that he's not seeing everything and not seeing the field well and this, that, and the other, that is a fair criticism because I agree. I've seen the same tapes. So Jalen, as QB1 of this team, you have to bear that responsibility. You have to bear the lion's share of the responsibility when your team ain't playing well. That is a fair criticism, whether you agree with it or not. But the other part of that is, in my opinion, now, and let me make this crystal clear. Because Jalen is the quarterback and he's the face of the franchise, he has to take the blame. He has to take the majority of the heat because he's the guy in charge. That comes with being a quarterback. However, in my opinion, based on the tape that I watched and the games that I have watched, the biggest issue that we are having is our offensive line. We're just not run blocking. We're not even run blocking now as good as we were last year. That's the problem. So when we get our offensive line just back to playing adequately, we pass block pretty well. Run blocking still seems to be a problem, even against the Raiders. If you look at the game against the Raiders, how many Tank Bigsby and even Saquon, how many runs did I think Tank had maybe 2 runs where he got good yards up the middle, inside the tackles. Everything else was bounced. When he was on the goal line, he tried to bounce it and then went back up the middle. And at first I said he should have committed to the outside and just went with it. But after watching it on tape, he did right. He tried to bounce it. It was somebody sitting right there in his face. So instinct, he turned it up and tried to go north and south. But it was 2-on-1 and he couldn't get it. Couldn't make it. So it is what it is. So I appreciate that, Chris. Tell your friends about me. About to get dinner cracking. You starting early, bro. I ain't mad at you, though. Ain't mad at you. Oh, Seth and Rhea bumped heads? Oh, Rhea's. I like Rhea. I bumped into Rhea a couple times, like here and there, like at the parades, just out and about sometimes. Rhea's cool. She's super cool. So, honestly, if I could say one thing good about Rhea is because Rhea is a fan. She's from here, but like that's what people should see when they're looking for Philly fans that know what they're talking about and don't just go with the narratives and don't go, look with your eyes and process what you see as opposed to following the narrative. So Rhea is so if you want to give somebody an example of a real Philly fan that doesn't fall too hard for all of the negative stuff, like I appreciate Rhea for that. So shout out to Rhea Hughes. Did you see any of Kurt Warner breakdowns the last few weeks? I thought they were pretty good. Kurt Warner is good. Yes, he is. Kurt Warner watches tape specifically for that reason. And it's funny, all of these ex-quarterbacks are jumping on the bandwagon and breaking down tape because that seems to be the most popular thing right now. But I do like his breakdowns. He goes through it with a purpose. I just watched a couple days ago, I watched Nick Foles does the same thing on the podcast. And Nick Foles is very pointed. Like he's got a reason as to why he's watching stuff. So, and I like that from him. So I'm going to watch more of that. But in my opinion, the best guy, there's 2 guys that I'm watching for quarterback play that are going to give you the best analysis. Number 1 is always Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell and NFL Films. Whatever he says, I take it to the bank. Now, I might not necessarily agree with his opinions. He said some things that I disagree with, from like maybe a technique style or just how somebody plays. But make no mistake, nobody, and I mean nobody, watches more film than Greg Cosell. So 99% of the time, what Greg Cosell says is gospel, because I know he watches the tape. And in my opinion, he comes across as very unbiased. This is what I saw, so this is what I'm saying. So Greg Cosell is number one. Number two is Greg Cosell. I have met a couple times, but number two is, and I don't know this guy. I reach out to him to try to get him on the podcast, and then as soon as I did that, a week later, his podcast blew up. JT O'Sullivan, the quarterback school, the QB school. This dude right here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB school. This guy right here. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. JT I believe he was a career backup player with the Lions, I think. I think he was in the league for like 8 years and was a career backup. But it doesn't mean he don't know what he's talking about. Because what do you think a backup does? Watches film all day. They still got to be in the meeting room. So he knows a lot of stuff. His breakdowns are really good, and he is very specific to QBs. That's all he does is quarterbacks. So he knows what he's talking about. So for me, Greg Cosell is one. JT O'Sullivan is two. Greg Cosell is just everything. Any position, any player, Greg Cosell is going to watch film. Doesn't matter what position. JT is specifically for quarterbacks. And I think Nick Foles is the same thing for quarterbacks. Also, Kyle Long's podcast. When they get into breaking down film, I know he's got some buddies that he's always on with that are former defensive linemen and offensive linemen, and they talk from being in the trenches. So I like listening to them. So I really like listening to people who have been there. Like I said, Greg Cosell, JT O'Sullivan, Kurt Warner. He just started doing this thing, and I'm gonna start watching him more and more because he does have good content, and he knows what he's talking about. And also like Kyle Long's podcast. So there's a couple of them out there that really know what they talk about. So yeah. So, but I'm gonna have to look up Seth's stuff. And also, man, speaking, because like Seth, myself, Ike Reese, Hugh Douglas, like guys that played, those of us that played, we always had a different perspective, and it doesn't always align with what they're trying to put out there, because sometimes we see things and we hear things on the radio, on social media, on the networks, and as somebody with the experience of having been in a locker room, it's like that ain't how it go down. That ain't how it happens. So sometimes it's different, and you have a difference of opinion, and it's like, listen, and one of the monikers that I've taken up is my opinion does not require your approval. You can agree and disagree with me. I look forward to disagreements. I can only give you what I know from my experience based on when I played. I know it's a lot different now, but there are some things that remain the same in a locker room. So, but I'm definitely gonna have to look at go back and check out that clips from Seth. Seth is my dude, man. Let me see. Am I watching Thursday night's game? Yes, I will be watching Thursday night's game. Come on, Q. You're never too late, bro. It's all good. Never too late. I don't think I'm too worked up about the Eagles having home field because I don't think bad weather in Philly helps us. I agree. Wouldn't mind playing at SoFi in perfect conditions. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Especially not with the Rams, because the Rams proved last year weather didn't affect them. They had a great game. That was a barn burner, and they almost got us, but almost don't count. So I agree with you 100%. The weather is not for some teams, it's not to our benefit. Now, having looked at that Raiders game, I think the cold weather definitely helped us a little bit. So sometimes it helps. Sometimes it helps, especially when you're talking about dome teams. But hey, last year, give credit to the Rams. They came in and they made it a game, and it was cold. It was snow on the ground and all that kind of stuff. Jared Verse still got busy. Matthew Stafford had a good game, but we still got with him. We still got with him, and ain't nothing gonna change this year. I hate we don't have Covey on. Yeah, yeah. You can honestly say that possibly cost us a game. That fumble late, that fumbled punt return when he tried to gather it up on the 4-yard line and bring it out, and they ended up fumbling it. That cost us the game. You can say that's fair. That's fair. So I agree with you. I agree with you. So that's a weird, not weird, but when you bring somebody in to play, you got to let them play. You done already paid the money. We knew what Covey was. They knew what Covey was. So why didn't they put him in earlier? Because they thought that the other guy they brought in had the goods. And for the most part, he was doing okay until then. It was good until it wasn't. So he was doing okay to that point. And one of the things that's very hard to balance out as a coach is, when do you pull somebody out and put somebody else in? Because everybody's going to struggle. I don't care what position you at. Look at Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell got in as a rookie and been balling. And then the Kobe Dean comes back and was like, y'all must have forgot. So things like that happen. And that's why these coaches get paid a lot of money. They got to make them decisions and know who's right for the team. And when it comes to just that specific instance, when you're talking about Jahad and Nakobe, you can't take somebody off the field that's playing that well. As good as Jahad Campbell is, Nakobe Dean took it to another level, coming off an injury. So, you gotta look at the film, process it, and take it for what you see. And as a coach, clearly, Nakobe Dean, with his experience and the way he is playing right now, take the injury out of it now, but the way he's playing right now is phenomenal. You can't take him off the field. You can't. Jahad Campbell, if he would have had an opportunity to play and continue to start, he'd have been in the running for defensive rookie of the year. Absolutely. I believe so. But you gotta, that's the politics of it. You got to play the game, and the game ain't fair. And this is part of it. This is part of it. Playoffs will be the first time this team will have back-to-back home games. Yes, and also, I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail. Nick Sirianni is the first coach to have 5 winning seasons back-to-back in the franchise history. That's pretty damn good for somebody that didn't anybody like. Nobody. Everybody thought Nick Sirianni was going to fail and he was going to last. He was going to be a one-hit wonder. He was going to be in the league for a year and he was going to get ousted because it had been too much for him and all of that. I'm telling you, y'all gotta run it back. Go back in the Wayback Machine and look at that first press conference with Nick Sirianni, and then try to see if you can find some of them sports talk radio receipts. Even I was like that. The only thing that turned me to Nick Sirianni, I had a buddy of mine that I played with in the World League, Jim Ballard. Shout out to Jim Ballard if you hear this. Jim Ballard. I had him on my podcast after we hired Nick Sirianni because I knew Jim coached him. Jim was a quarterback's coach at Mount Union, where Sirianni is from. So we have to I had to take that into consideration. And I remember Jim telling me, he said, I know it doesn't look right. I know it ain't good looks and everything. He said, but trust me. He said, trust me. This dude comes from a football family. He knows football. He comes from a winning organization. He's like, trust me. He was right. He was right. You can't judge a book by its cover. You got to read it. And Philadelphia was forced to read it. A couple chapters they didn't like, though. But when the more you get into the book, the more you like what you're reading. And it's the same thing with Sirianni. You don't, whether you like or agree with a hire or fire, whether you like it or not is irrelevant. When Sirianni got the job, he was the man. So the only thing you can do is trust that Howie and Jeffrey made the right decision. And they did. And not only did they knocked it out of the park because we got 2 appearances and a Super Bowl victory out of this deal. Anytime you get a coach and they give you the ring, school's out, bro. You ain't got nothing bad to say. Everybody that's nitpicking for various reasons, they nitpicking. You can only, what do I say? How do I say it? When you're winning, it's nitpicking. When you're losing, it's complaining. But they're both the same thing. And for that stretch, we were complaining because we were losing. But in the big scheme of things, in the macro, 2 appearances in 3 years with a victory. Slow your roll. What you mad at? We just going through our turn with the hard times. Every team goes through it. Everybody get a turn. I'm about to make me a graphic when I say that because I say that so much now. Everybody get a turn. I'm about to make something. I'll put it on the list. So yeah, man, it's you got to let it play itself out. And I said this last night. Same thing with Kevin Patullo. Same thing with Kevin Patullo. Chris, I'm with you. And if he does piss you off and we have some BS game plan, then again, the criticism is warranted. But what the one thing people have to remember, you don't just get to that level. He is one of 32. He's in the top 1% of his class. He's one of 32 offensive coordinators in the National Football League. You don't just get there and not know nothing. Now, we might not agree with it because you got to look at Kellen Moore last year. We wasn't crazy about what he was doing, and you just got to let it play out. You got to let him figure it out. The man ain't stupid. Kevin Patullo ain't stupid. I might not like some of the stuff that he does, but I trust that he's proficient at what he's doing, and he's getting better. I use this analogy all the time because it fits. When somebody teaches you how to play chess, you are not automatically a great chess player. You are not automatically Kasparov or Bobby Fischer or whoever. You ain't Deep Blue. You know what I mean? You got to go through and you got to learn it, get better at it. He had to take his process. I don't care how long you've been sitting in the wings waiting. I don't care how long you've been an assistant. When you are in the forefront, it always, always, always takes an adjustment period before you can get up to speed. Some take longer than others. And Kevin Patullo is not exempt. And I've said this before, despite of how my feelings on the type of offense he was calling and his play calling and all of that type of stuff, despite all of that, and almost with the exception of maybe one game, all of our losses, we had opportunities to win. The players on the field did not do what they needed to do. Player execution failure. Me, as a former player, understand that wholeheartedly. I was the all-time leading rusher in 1AA history when I left college. 6,552 yards with a 6.5 yards per carry. I knew I could tote the rock, but I also lost my team the game because I fumbled. That happened to me. Player execution failure. Doesn't matter if you play in college, high school, pros, doesn't matter. You are expected to get on that field and do your job. And we weren't doing it efficiently nor effectively. And we were scraping by until we got. Penalties is not Kevin Patullo's fault. Drop passes is not Kevin Patullo's fault. Holding calls are not Kevin Patullo's fault. Not reading the receivers right. Missing open guys. That's not Kevin Patullo's fault. Throwing bad balls, not Kevin Patullo's fault. Jumping off sides is not Kevin Patullo's fault. Dropping interceptions is not Kevin Patullo's fault. Player, execution, failure. Now, after the game, we can go back and say, I don't like what we were calling here. It looks like we were predictable. And think about it like this. All of them times when we were complaining because the offense was predictable, we were still winning. We were still winning. So for me, and I've said this before, I don't care if my 1-year-old grandson calls the offense. If the guys on the field execute what's called, it does not matter. I grew up from a time, if you screwed up in practice, they would say, run it again. We going right here. We going in this hole right here. The coach would tell everybody where we were going. And we better get the 4 yards. We better execute that play or we was going to run it again. That's the era that I come from. So it doesn't matter what play is called. What matters is how you execute it. I need Cam Jurgens to beat his man. I need Landon Dickerson to hold his block. I need Jordan Mailata and Fred Johnson to seal those edges. That's what I need. I don't care what play is called. And if they do that, we can be successful. Now, in that, it's not just as black and white as that. There's a lot of gray area. Scheme versus fit. Why would you call this against this defense? Stuff like that. But you don't see that until afterwards. And even I've seen plays where the defense had the right play called and they got in there and then our playmakers make plays. That's why they get paid the big bucks. I've seen Saquon make people miss. I've seen Jalen break tackles. I've seen AJ take a 5-yard slant and make it a 20-yard splash play. That long 44-yard pass to Devontae Smith, if you watch that play, Devontae slips on the route. He almost fell down, but he gathered himself and still outran the DB and got a step on. And Jalen threw the perfect ball. So everything worked out. That's what we need to have with consistency. Everybody do their job and we win that play. And at the end of the game, how many plays did you win and how many plays did you lose? Usually, not all the time, but usually the team that performs the best in those scenarios will come out the winner. Usually. If we go out and dominate Washington and have a complete domination 2 in a row, how much confidence should we have that the team is rounding into form? The team is in the form now. We're just trying to minimize the mistakes. I can't answer as to why it took so long to get here. That's the question everybody wants to know. That's the question everybody wants to know. Uh-oh. I'm looking on Twitter. I'm trying to see what was sent. I got a notification, but I can't. I don't see nothing. I see Laura Brunson. I'll find it. But if we dominate, so this is what everybody's going to say. If we dominate Washington like we did the Raiders, right? And I'm not talking about we ain't got to blank them. But we have to show clearly that we're the better team, right? The narrative is going to be, okay, it looks like Philly's got it together. So they're the team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. Because Philly's, they rolled off 3 in a row. Honestly, the game is going to be the Buffalo game. That's the game. Because if we beat Washington like we're supposed to, Everybody's going to say the same thing they said about the Raiders. Washington's not a good team. Quarterback's out. A lot of people injured. They're not up to par with us. You're supposed to beat them. That's what everybody's going to say. Buffalo is the game. Buffalo is the one where we have to establish that we are for real. Because you got to remember, Buffalo hasn't really done anything either. So we got Washington, Buffalo, Washington. So we should be able to take care of business in Washington. They lost their tight end. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have the number one wide receivers. Like, Washington's in a bad situation right now. So yes, we should beat them. They're in the same situation as the Raiders, but they're, in my opinion, they're a better team than the Raiders. However, they are not better than us. So we should be able to take care of business. Buffalo is the game that we got to show and prove. But I got to take my own advice on this one. I'm not worried about Buffalo. Take Buffalo off the. I don't want to talk about Buffalo. I want to talk about Washington. We'll get to Buffalo when we get to Buffalo. I want to talk about Washington. So I'm still looking for that link, man. Did you send that to let me see. Boy. Is that 9215? Put your Twitter handle. Is it Schoolboy? I typed in Schoolboy 609, but it don't pop up. So if you got a different one, let me know so I can find it. So I can find that link because I want to look at it. I want to see that. So, but anyways, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Somebody else put a super chat. Super chat. I think the only reason that playoff game was close because Jalen got injured. If he could run in the second half, it's belt to ass after the Saquon run. I mean, that's fair. That's fair, but I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We still handle business, and the good thing about that is that we handle business. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. We handle business in spite of, and let me got to shout you guys out for the super chat. So.
Super chat.
So thank you for that. But we all we gotta do is handle business, man. Ain't nothing changing. Nothing. Nothing changing. Yeah. Yeah, my little man, he'll get up there and call some plays when he start reading. No, it's not bad. I agree. It is not a bad offense. It is inconsistent, but I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that it is predictable, and that's okay. The problem is you have to understand what you're dealing with, and you have to be aware that everybody else knows what's going on, and that, to me, if I have a criticism of Patullo, because I've seen plays where clearly the defense knows what's coming. I've seen pass plays and run plays like that, where clearly the defense knows. Against the Chargers, there was one play where the defensive back ran up to the line of scrimmage and he sprinted flat down the line of scrimmage and got Saquon for like a 2-yard loss on a handoff out of gun. So he knew that play was coming. He knew exactly what it was. That was like film study. We just lost the chess match on that particular play. But when you have plays like that and the opponent knows what's coming, that the onus is on the coordinator to change some things up, change the formation, shift, do whatever it is you got to do so that doesn't happen. There are a lot of teams, mostly all of them are predictable. It's about execution. Yes, it is. It's about execution. Here's the easiest example I can give of this. You look at the 49ers. You look at Christian McCaffrey. The 49ers have a play. I call it a skinny pitch. They have a wide pitch, which is a normal pitch. The running back tries to get outside, hit the corner, and get what he can get. And then they have a skinny pitch where they run it the same way. The running back is a pit. He's 7 yards deep. He gets the pitch from the quarterback, except as soon as the ball is in his hands, he goes off the guard's block. It's an inside play. So I call it a skinny pitch. They run that every game, every game, every game. Everybody knows it's coming, but they cannot stop it. That is exactly what I'm talking about. That is not a new play. I can go back 2 and 3 years and pick that play off of film. They've been running it forever. And every time Christian McCaffrey gets the ball, they set it up with an outside run. Then they might set it up again with an outside run. Then they might shift somebody over there to put more blockers on that side, then set it up again, except just when you thought it was safe, he cuts it back up, gets the cutback lane, and takes one to the house, or at least makes a splash play. Take what you already have and make it work. All my OGs in the house, when you grew up and wasn't a lot of food in the house, and your grandmama took what was in there, or your mom's took what was in there and made a meal. You don't know how she did it, but she did it. It's the same thing. Take what you have. We're not adding plays to the playbook. That shovel screen to Dallas Goedert, that was already there. It just may have looked a little bit different. Maybe one time it was Smitty coming across and not Dallas Goedert, or it was AJ or Latu, or it could have been anything. Darius Cooper, because he usually blocks. So it could have been any different things, but you have all of those different variations off of that one play, and we haven't been using it. Use it, because now we almost at the end game, and you got to pull out all of the stops, because in about 3 weeks is when to go home, and I'm not trying to go to Cancun just yet. Yeah, you're probably right, but at this point, I don't care. I've adopted that mindset. People are going to talk smack anyways. The people, after he was the Super Bowl MVP, they were still saying he was a game manager. So, and I guess my question is, what's wrong with being a game manager if you winning against the guys that's throwing all of them yards? That should tell you something. So, and the one thing I always say, the long ball is overrated. I'm sorry. And I'm talking, and our quarterback is the best long ball thrower in the league. The long ball is overrated. What works is when you get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays. That's what works. We didn't throw bombs to A.J. Brown when he went on that run last year when he had 5 consecutive games of 125 yards or more and broke an NFL record. They weren't all long bombs. A lot of those were just short passes that AJ, being the playmaker that he is, made plays, broke tackles, turned a 5-yard gain into a 25-yard gain. That's why we paid him the money. That's why I was so angry when everybody was losing their shit because he tweeted. Y'all better stop. Y'all must have forgot what a diva really looks like. Look at what Justin Jefferson was doing. Look at what CeeDee Lamb was doing. Look at what Mike Evans did when they lost that game the other day and he was coming in the locker room. Can you imagine? Look at Brandon Ayuk right now. Can you imagine if A.J. Brown behaved in that manner? They would eviscerate him. And I'm like, and this is the one thing that I say that people, I guess people like to dismiss it because they don't want to talk about it, because they want to get their digs in. And this is my opinion, of course, because people, they dismiss this fact and this very important point because they just want to get their digs in. I don't care about that. You're supposed to be doing this, blah, 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 blah. Like, people forget that go back and watch the video when A.J. Brown talked to that lady about suicide. Go back and let me see if I can find it. This right here. Yep.
sure everyone saw the video I posted on Friday.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I want to make sure I got some.
Friday. Um,
Yeah.
to be honest, I posted the video. That was a dark time in my life that nobody really know. But I posted it because I wanted to encourage others to seek help whenever they are down.
Like that was the real deal right there. Let me see. I want to get to the point where you hear the reporter asking a question. Like she's in tears.
No, I'm in a point just because I'm grateful to play the game my heart and take.
Just
Here we go.
sorry.
You hear?
I know we played this beautiful game, but life.
Listen to the reporter.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just want me to kind of come out and want to talk about that. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. It's okay. Like I said, it was a dark moment, and it was a year ago where I had thought about, taking my life.
So I wanted to show that, right? Because people dismiss that. That didn't just go away. That's an experience that'll live with him forever. And the reason I bring this up is because people that have been through stuff like this and are dealing with stuff, they have to express their frustration, stress, whatever. They have to do it a specific way that works for them. Period. It ain't no but. It ain't no, well, why don't you? They have to do it that way because that is the way that works for them. So if he got a tweet, tweet. Do what the hell you got to do. Not hurt nobody. Doing it his way. Very introspective. Not loud, not boisterous, not condemning anybody, not a braggart, not conceited. None of that. Did it, he was doing it his way. The tweets was his way of, because when you get stressed like that, you start leaking. You trying to hold it together, and then every now and then you got to let some steam out. Everybody knows what happens when the pressure build up. Something gonna pop. So you got to figure out a way to let out some of that pressure so you can continue to operate. And if tweeting is the way he wants to release that stress, so be it. And everybody was forgetting that fact. I had a guy in the Sam's Club tell me we both gave us the Go Birds salute because he was wearing like a Eagles jersey, and he said if AJ Brown is still on his team next year, I'm taking this off. And I was like, what? I was like, out of everything that AJ Brown has done, why would you not want him on this team? I don't understand that at all. I don't care what he tweeted. I don't give a shit. Because I look at some of these other knuckleheads around the league and how they behave and how they act. And then I look at what's going on the field. And again, and I will say this constantly, AJ Brown has never said anything that was incorrect. Never. The only thing he did was brought it to light and everybody lost their shit. The one thing you can't argue with is the truth, because it's going to always come back to truth. Or I should say the one thing you can argue with is the truth. You can argue with him. Why'd you say that? Listen, the passing game was bad. Go back to the Carolina game last year when we threw for 109 yards on offense. It was bad. But we went in. You can, two things can be true at the same time. But you know what I figured out? The reason people, in my opinion, get mad at AJ for his tweets and some of the stuff that he says is because the people on the radio didn't get an opportunity to say it first. That's what I believe. They want to be the first ones to say, hey, the passing game's got to get better. Jalen's got to get. He said it. He a captain of the team. If anybody is supposed to say it, it's him. If anybody's supposed to say it, it's Jalen. It's Lane. It's Jordan. They supposed to make it plain and make it live for you. No misunderstandings. That's all he did. He didn't throw nobody under the bus, but everybody else got so butthurt because he said it. Well, he ain't say nothing wrong. And if you a player in that locker room, me especially being an offensive player, I get it. Somebody got to call it out. Leave AJ alone. He is not, nor was he ever the problem. So I don't understand that at all. And to me, that's just people trying to get their digs in. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. I got you, schoolboy. So hold on. Follow back. All right, I followed you back, schoolboy. So you should be able to send me a DM or that link with Seth on it. Appreciate you. But yeah, man, I that's one thing that always bothered me about the whole AJ Brown situation. Let that man vent and let that man operate the way he's done it. He ain't been nothing but a professional in this city after y'all done knocked him off his bike and all this other kind of nonsense, and he still shows up. He still shows up because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn what he tweets. I care about what he does when he steps into Lincoln Financial. And every time he's done that, he's been up to par. Now, he's had a couple of bad days. And as long as he's been here, how many bad days has he had? Just a few. And now you want to run him out of town? Man, y'all better get the hell up out of here with that. Go on about y'all business. Get. Bills are not that good, honestly. They're okay. They can win some games, but I don't think they're better than us. But again, if our defense does what our defense has been doing, we will be fine. I agree with you. They always rely on Allen. Oh, by the way, I meant to mention this earlier. Did y'all watch the game last night? Did y'all watch Pittsburgh put it on Miami? Did y'all see that game? Did y'all notice that Pittsburgh ran a tush push like what? 2 times, 3 times? I know they ran it to get it first. I think they ran it 3 times. They ran it twice to get a first down and once to score, I believe. I thought that was hilarious. Thought it was hilarious. And did you notice that Aaron Rodgers slid to the left? I'm going to take credit for that. Slide to the left. Thought that was funny. Yeah, that's yeah. That ain't gonna never go nowhere. Because everybody doesn't like us because they want to follow there. I had a guy tell me the reason why he doesn't like Philly is because he said he had an uncle that got mugged in Philly by 2 guys that were wearing Eagle shirts. And I was like, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not here to demean your experience. That was horrible for you, but that still doesn't represent the majority of the Eagles fans. And that's unfair to put that label on me because it's something that happened to you. Because guess what? It's been people killed at Rams games. It's been people killed at Oakland games, Raiders games, Cowboys games. There's a video on YouTube of a fight at a Cowboys game between 2 Cowboys fans in a bathroom. So don't tell me it just happens in Philly. It's some people that have been unalived at football games that weren't in Philadelphia. So let's keep it a buck when it comes to stuff like that. Oda Commanders one from last year in Maryland. Yeah. Let me see. Inconsistent offense and a bad offense can and will both get you sent home come playoff time. Yeah, he who makes the least amount of errors will normally win the game. Because I've seen games. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough to where you notice. I've seen games but where you look at the stat line and you looking at the stat line and you wondering like who won the game and who lost the game because it doesn't make sense. Because the losing team, more first downs, more yards, more passing yards, more receiving yards, all of that kind of stuff. And they still lost. And you like, how does that happen? Mistakes. Dean is amazing. His level up last year must be studied because he couldn't cover nobody for the. He was covering pretty good, but he would, he was running with that knee brace on. But like, listen, man, again, and I say this all the time. There's 2 people that don't give enough credit, that don't get enough credit for how smart they are, and one of them is Nakobe Dean. Kobe Dean is a freaking genius back there, man. Strength doesn't always come from winning. Our struggles also develop our strength. So I appreciate the season to Philadelphia. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There are lessons in loss. Don't get that twisted. There are lessons in loss. And when we are in an era of everybody gets a trophy, that message gets lost. There are lessons in loss. That's exactly how we were last year. Predictable, but no one can stop it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me see. Should see it now. Didn't add coach. Oh, gotcha. Let me check it out. Here, pop up. Explore profile. Notifications.
If you live in a New Jersey,
Let me see. All right, I'm gonna see if I can. So hopefully they won't pop me for using the video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the screen off. So hold on.
zip code,
What's happening, fellas?
All good, man.
Ladies in the back.
How great was that yesterday, Seth? I mean, the Raiders stink, but I mean, that Eagles did everything they could, man.
Stop it.
Seth, when you went and played for the Broncos, did you take that 90-yard game and taunt John Elway with it?
No.
Like, were you ever like, hey, man?
No.
Did you remember that at the time?
No, I didn't even remember it now.
Yeah.
That Joe brought it up.
That's weird. Huh?
Does it ring a bell, though? Is that coming back to you or not?
No, I remember a dominant game. I believe Wade Phillips was the head coach, I think. But, you know, there's certain moments and points in your career that you never forget. That's just, you know, as amazing as that day was. I don't remember.
Well, so here's the deal. I'll address this quickly because that one always gets overshadowed by Body Bag, House of Paint. Yeah.
Trying to get to the
godsend for this.
Say, okay,
Campbell is and so coming into their own in so many different ways.
everybody.
Kobe Dean is just
What I tell you, Kobe.
godsend for this team. You know, as good as Jahad Campbell is.
7 minute mark. I'm gonna check that out.
It's Kobe's Dean his understanding of
What I tell you.
where he got to get to.
I haven't heard this.
To do that makes the difference.
And it's funny how like minds think alike. You know what I mean?
He brought back. I mean, looking way ahead, I know, but
Let me see. You said the 7 minute mark. All right, we're gonna get to that.
Reminder, everyone, you can call in here. Seth with us for the next 50 minutes. 215.
Let's see what they're talking about.
9494. What'd you make of how Jalen played, Seth?
I expected. Our mid-pin player to bank on yesterday, I picked Jalen Hurts. I said, he's not going to play the way he played last week. And let me say this.
No, he's not.
I got to say this, bro, because last week he got lambasted across every platform that you can think of right here in town.
Yep.
And national.
Yep.
Somebody here on WIP just was like the town crier to put the guy down and play his backup. All right? Let's go back and look at last week. And let's objectively look at it. I get it. 4 interceptions and a fumble. I understand. The quarterback, when he plays well, he gets too much of the credit. And when he plays bad, he takes
all of the credit
of the heat for it to be a team game. But let's look at the turnovers and let's objectively, observe them. A.J. Brown drops the ball.
It gets picked.
An interception.
Yep.
Devontae Smith slips and falls.
Fell on the route, turned into a pick. Yep.
Okay. A.J. Brown is the primary. He adjusts his route to come inside. Jalen, no way he could see that they're running a zone blitz and they drop the defensive tackle. Throws the ball on target. The defensive tackle intercepts it. Okay. He gets stripped.
Yep.
The ball wasn't just spinning on the ground where Jalen could jump on it. the ball literally bounced right back up in his hands. And anybody who's ever played football before, if the ball bounces up in your hands, the inclination ain't to fall down with it.
Just to catch it and go.
The inclination is to run with it.
Absolutely.
So he gets sacked before he can even put it away. And then the last interception, he just got a little greedy. He just got a little greedy because he had Dallas in the flat. That's a 4 or 5 yard gain.
Right.
And he decided to go for it all, where he didn't have to because it was still 3 minutes left.
It off, right?
I thought it was open. I thought he didn't get it. He didn't get a lot of pepper on the ball. He didn't follow through like he could.
That, as bad as he got lambasted last week, that all of those interceptions were his fault. Let's look at things a little more objectively.
Watch the tape.
People sat at this station all the last week and roasted his ass. And people on ESPN and everywhere else roasted his ass. He was 21 of 40 for 240 yards and a touchdown if you omit those interceptions. So how many of those turnovers can you
think
really
he played
attribute?
a good game last week?
I didn't say he played a good game last week,
So
Raymond.
we're supposed to
But-
sit here and say, "Oh, it was all great except for the
No,
interceptions."
what I want us to
And a
do,
lot of people did
what I
point out
want
the
people
AJ.
to do, what I want people to do is lay the blame where it really lies instead of laying it all on the quarterback all the time. So then come in here today. I want to hear everybody on this station today give Jalen Hurts his damn flowers if you're going to roast him without being objective about it, Rhea. That's what I'm talking
Well, I'm
about.
saying it.
I like that. My dude Seth. He don't pull no punches, man. And he's right. But like I said before, when you're the quarterback, when you QB1, you got to take the heat that comes with. That's part of the job. That's part of the job. So I understand that, and I don't like Rhea is not wrong. She's not wrong at all. But I totally understand what Seth is saying, because if AJ doesn't drop the ball, do we end up scoring? Do we take advantage of that opportunity? When you take the opportunity off the table, you don't know what's going to happen. So if we catch that ball, if Devontae doesn't slip, if we don't get didn't somebody get a holding call when we actually scored on a play? Was that game? I think it was that Chargers game. But like things like that happen. So and this is what I've been saying. No, Jalen Hurts didn't play well, but we still had an opportunity to win. We still had an opportunity to win in spite of how bad that game was for him. The series of unfortunate events. The one that he mentioned that the defensive tackle dropped back. Now I'll watch that play specifically. I went back and watched the tape on that. And on that play, I give all credit to that defense. That defensive scheme on that play, they called the perfect scheme for the perfect offensive play. The defense won that battle. The defensive tackle took a full step forward, and when Jalen looked to his left, because it looked like his first progression was on the left side, he sees that defensive tackle taking a step past the line of scrimmage, and then the Joker backed out. So when Jalen goes to his next progression on the right side, he never saw him. Checkmate defense. Defensive guys, they get paid too. That was the perfect call for what we ran on offense. It happens like that sometimes. And everybody's like, well, you should have saw him. It's like, yeah, you can always say that anytime you throw a pick. Well, you should have saw him or you should have did this. But guess what? The defense operated their scheme to perfection. So you got to take that in consideration. You're going to lose battles because the other guys get paid too. And that's the thing, in my opinion. That's what I think Seth is trying to say. Like, he has to take the blame because he's the quarterback. But when you objectively look at the film and look at what actually happened, you got to put some more. There's enough blame to go around. Let's say it like that. Because everybody was, did Matthew Stafford catch all of that vitriol when he threw 2 picks in 3 plays? Or when Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions? So when you look at narrative, to me, narrative is, regardless of what happens, how do the people with the loudest voice want to spin it? Prime example. Last year, before we were in the Super Bowl, mid-season, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen were winning games the exact same way. They were using their legs. They were having anywhere between 170 to 200 yards passing. Not a ginormous passing game with passing yards, but they were moving the ball with their legs. Jalen is the game manager. Josh Allen is gutsy and does whatever it takes for his team to win. But they win in the exact same way, but they just don't give Jalen the credit for doing the same thing and doing it more consistently, to be honest with you. So the people out there, the powers that be, the networks, the media heads, social media, all of that stuff, because everybody's in the same boat now. Those are the people that try to set the narrative. And they want to spin it the way they want to spin it. And they want to make it look like Josh Allen is that much better and everybody else is that much worse. You can't tell me that Josh Allen should have been the MVP last year. It should have been Lamar Jackson for the third consecutive time. Stop playing with me. And they knew that, but they didn't want him to have it 3 times in a row. He's got it enough times. No, he deserved it. So they like to put that narrative out there. I agree with Seth. I don't disagree with Rhea either. Her perspective is a little bit different. But what did I tell you? Us as players, we look at things differently. Because when we go in that film room, to a man, you got to own your own shit. It's a team game on the field, but film sessions is for watching the film and figuring out what you did wrong and how can I be better the next time. So I understand what Seth is saying. People that did, because I don't like to pull the I was the player and you weren't card, but sometimes it's appropriate because that affects our perspective on what we are looking at. And people, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Like I said, I agree with Seth 100%. But Rhea ain't wrong. 2 things can mutually be true at the same time. Jalen didn't play a good game, and he still had an opportunity to win. That's what I want. And eventually, we're going to take the mistakes out. Do I think we would have had 200, 250 yards if he would have played in the fourth quarter? Probably. Or maybe not, because we probably would have ran the ball the way we were going. All fourth quarter like we did. Nothing would have changed. So, he had the good game, and he did what he was supposed to do. And that's what we need going forward. We just need our offense to do what they're supposed to do. Take advantage of what we give you. Get Dallas Goedert involved. Get Dallas Goedert involved. So, yeah, I appreciate that, schoolboy. That was good stuff, man. My man, I'm efforting. I'm efforting to get Seth on the show, man. Is it okay for teammates to crash out? I played nose tackle and got into a beef with the running backs, but we handled it over time and had a good season. Listen, man, I said this before. Locker room is a family. A locker room is a family. I don't know how many of y'all out there got family, got siblings, and all that kind of stuff. You do not get along with everybody in your family all of the time. Don't mean you don't love them. It don't mean you don't love them. You don't forgive and forget. You just forgive. You don't forget, because if you forget, that's stupid, because that means you can let them do the same thing again. So it is a familial dynamic in a locker room. You don't get along with everybody. But all of that shit goes out the window when you step on the field. All of it. Now, when you get back in the locker room, or you go out and live your day-to-day outside of the stadium and stuff like that, y'all might not rock together. Y'all might not go to clubs together. Y'all might not interact together. That happens all the time. It's just like high school. You got cliques. These guys like to hunt, so they always going hunting. These guys like to go to the clubs. These guys like to go to the strip clubs. These guys like to go bowling. These guys just play video games and Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons all the time. Yes, there's some guys like that. Everybody is in their clique. You gravitate to the things that you like. When I was playing, the same rules applied, except it just looked a little different. It looked a little different. You knew which guys had that could get into every club and every strip club free. because there were guys like that. Because that's all they talked about. You knew which guys had the best deals at the car dealerships. You knew who got the best deal. You knew who had the endorsement with Nike. Yo, Randall, can you give me order me a pair of size 12 Nikes, high tops, seven studs? You knew that. I tell people this all the time. One of my best friends to this day is William Thomas. Willie T. I'm a 51. Willie T. T was one of the guys, as soon as I got in the camp, me and him connected. What do we have in common? Kind of quiet dudes, not very boisterous, had good talent, liked video games, all of that, electronics, computers, all of that type of stuff. There's an article on my wall back here that talks about when I made the Eagles, they always ask you this question. What's the first thing you did with some of your money? Literally, the first thing I did with my money was bought me a computer. Now, mind you, this is back in 1993. I spent $3,000 on a computer. In today's terms, that would be like $8-9 grand. I spent a lot of money on computers. That's what I was into. And my point in saying all of this is you hang with the guys that do the same things you like to do. Me and T, we like video games and we like golf. I was living at Ramblewood. Willie T would come to my apartment at like 7 o'clock in the morning. We would tee off at Ramblewood. Shout out to anybody in South Jersey that knows what I'm talking about. We would go to Ramblewood golf course. Jaws owns it now. I would play 18 holes. We would tee off on the 18th hole. Right before we teed off, I would call Domino's, have 2 large pizzas delivered. We finished the hole. We would take the golf carts. We wouldn't even take the golf carts back. We would take the golf carts right to my apartment and park them right out front. That's how close I was to the golf course. We wait for the pizza, eat the pizza, play a couple of games of Madden, go back outside and play 18 more. And we were doing that like 2 and 3 times a week. That's when I got good at golf. That's when he got great at golf. You hang with the dudes that have like things. Likes, opposites attract, likes repel. But you do have people that are going in the same direction. And you just hang with those people. It's that simple. It is a familial dynamic in the locker room. Some people you get along with, some people you don't. Or it's not about not getting along. It's like, I just don't vibe with him. So we cool in the locker room and we just don't hang out outside the locker room. You might see if you go to a team function and y'all sign an autograph, everybody in the same thing. Back in the day, we used to you could make a little extra money playing charity basketball games. Meet up at the high school, meet up at Cherry Hill East, 3 o'clock on a Saturday. You know, play a couple basketball, sign some autographs, take pictures with firemen and stuff like that, and make a day up. And that's who you hang with. So, you know, people get mad at everything, man. They get mad at everything. Yeah, they try to call him a diva, and they don't. Like, how you gonna call somebody a diva in this town when we experienced T.O.? And T.O. was Hall of Fame. So, like, stop playing with me. No, they didn't. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon because A.J. Brown was low-hanging fruit. And again, never said anything wrong. So, yeah, I don't want A.J. Brown. I want A.J. Brown to retire an Eagle. That's what I want. I want him to have 2 more championships, and I want him to retire an Eagle because this is the best team for him. Look at Mekhi Becton when he left. And I say this all the time. You look at Miles Sanders, you look at DeAndre Swift, you look at Mekhi Becton, you can say Marcus Epps, you can say TJ Edwards. Look at what happened with everybody. You can say Kenny Gainwell, Slay, CJ. Look at what happened when they left the organization. Because there's a big thing with me. Do you want the bag or do you want the culture? What do you want? Because the culture is winning. Josh Sweat chose the culture, got a ring for it. Because remember, last year, Josh Sweat could have got paid last year, but he opted to take less money and stay with the team because he knew what they had here. And it paid off. He was right. And I would argue that if Jalen Hurts wasn't the MVP of the Super Bowl, it would have been Josh Sweat. And he doing the same thing balling out down in Arizona. They ain't winning nothing, but guess what? So that's the way it goes. He chose culture. Then after he got his ring, he got his money. Milt Williams got his money. Mekhi Becton got his money. But I kind of look at Howie, I was like, yeah, we could have swung that. We could have made that happen. But again, I have supreme trust in Howie. Maybe he just whiffed on that. Maybe that was a foul ball. He didn't whiff on it. But maybe that was a foul ball. Maybe we should have just went ahead and ponied up the money and kept him here because we could have used him right now. But you never know. He could have got hurt in week 3. You don't know. Hopefully we'll have the opportunity to get him back and they will bring him back. So we'll see what happens. Dr. Jen. You know what, Jen? Rhea, Ike, Seth. Well, Seth is on there, but trying to think who else is on there. Hugh Douglas. Listen to the players sometimes. So it's not everybody and it's not all the time, but I get it. Trust me, I get it. Because sometimes you just got to turn it off. And I do that too. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I don't feel like listening today. Smitty probably feels, yeah, man. Yeah. I want that duo to retire together. I want AJ Brown to stay here. I don't want him to go anywhere. I want Devontae Smith to stay here. Because it seems to me that they are about culture. Devontae Smith, quiet dude, comes in, never complains, goes about his business. He knows sometimes AJ is going to have the lion's share of the targets. And you know what? He still shows up, and when he gets his opportunity, he makes the most of it. And I like guys like Darius Cooper, and I like Jahan Dotson. Because every time Jahan Dotson gets a chance to make a play, he makes a play. He understands where his time was, and it didn't work in Washington. Now he got another opportunity. Got a ring out of it. Got a ring out the deal. You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to look at the long term, man. You got to look at the long term. And we are the Philadelphia Eagles are better with AJ Brown on this team. Do not get it twisted. Because if he does leave, that means you got to replace him. And who you going to play? Who you going to put in there that's going to replace that production? That's the question you got to ask. That's the question you got to ask. Absolutely, Chris. Folks forgot what it looked like before AJ got to Philly. Absolutely. We got selective amnesia around here. So Steelers versus Eagles Super Bowl? I don't know about that. Interesting. I like Gainwell. I'm one of those ones that I don't think we use Gainwell as well as we could have. Gainwell was good. I like Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is a bigger and faster version of Gainwell, in my opinion. Gainwell did not come off the field. In my opinion, Gainwell could have started. We just didn't, for some reason, when you get some people in the backfield, it's like, well, what's he going to do? And it's like, get the kid the ball. Let him work. They did the same thing with DeAndre Swift. I'd have to go back and look, but I bet it was under 10, the number of screens we threw to DeAndre Swift. And now you see what he's doing in Chicago. He had them same type of skills when he was here. We just didn't use them right. Stop playing. We didn't use them right. So that's the way it goes sometimes, man. Like I say, you got to play the game, but the game ain't fair. That's the way it goes. Just not fair. Quez Watkins, yeah. Quez Watkins had his opportunities, but he came up short a couple times. But Quez was, for the most part, you remember the times that he dropped the balls or something like that. But if you look at the stats will say Quez was a pretty decent receiver here. That's why I always say numbers don't lie, but they do deceive. Got to watch the tape. Got to watch the tape. Yeah. They ran a number, but they didn't run it a lot with the number 2 back. That's why Tank Bigsby is a change of pace. I like AJ Dillon. I thought when Dillon got an opportunity to run the ball, but he ended up suffering from the same stuff that Saquon was going through. The offensive line wasn't blocking, and that ain't his fault. And then when they finally figured it out, you got a young buck coming in, lighting it up. So that's the way it goes. That's the game. That's the game. Yeah, I miss Swift too. I thought Swift was a great back and underappreciated. Yeah. JJ Arthur-Whiteside, I think that he was just unrealized potential. His size and his ability and his stock, like his parents, both his parents were Olympians and all that. Like, dude, you should have been beasting over everybody. And it just didn't. Something happens in between here, man. Just because you got it, don't mean you know how to use it. One of the biggest things I learned in coaching kids, you don't deal with people, you deal with personality. I had this kid, shout out to Seth Henry if he ever sees this. Seth was one of the smallest kids. I coached the 105s. In South Jersey, you go by weight class, age and weight class. So you got to be 105 or lighter, right? So I coached the 105s. And we had this kid, his name was Seth Henry, and Seth was about as big as a twig. But when I tell you that joker was a pit bull, when I tell you, if I said, Seth, I need you to go get the ball, knock that dude's helmet off, separate the man from the ball, he could do it. Not afraid to fight, all of that. He was that dude because he had the personality. He was a wrestler in high school. He would wrestle when I was coaching him. He just had that aggressive attitude. You know, you ever come across them little small dudes that always want to fight? And you got to be careful because they like the Tasmanian devil. That's what Seth was for me. And he is one of those guys where I can say, Seth, I need you to get that, make a play on that ball, knock that joker's head off. I could say that to him. On the flip side of that, I had another guy on my team, I forget what the kid's name was, literally had an early growth spurt. He was a little chubby, but he literally was the biggest, strongest kid on our team. And he was a sweet kid. First year playing football, didn't really know what he was doing, and he was just a sweet kid. And I couldn't tell that kid to go take his head off. I couldn't do that. It's not his personality. And I knew that. So I'm not going to ask that of him. He was still learning the game, and he didn't know what he didn't know. He didn't know how strong he was. He didn't know how fast he was because it was his first year. So you got to temper your expectations. Know your personnel. You don't deal with people, you deal with personality. It's the same way with a team. It's the same way with a head coach. I don't care what level you're on. I don't care what level you're on. To some degree, I believe that's why they got rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The personality wasn't vibing the same way it was. Because the way C.J. Gardner-Johnson is, I would imagine that he had to tone down some of the stuff he was known for. Because he's in a new environment, he's trying to fit in and stuff like that, and maybe it wasn't working together. Let's agree to disagree and let's agree to part ways. I don't know. So that's the way it goes. Do I think Juergens is done or he needs rest? I think Juergens is hurt, and I don't know why Vic Stoutland won't put Toth at center. because Jurgens, I saw a couple of plays from the Raiders game, and I was like, come on, dude. You can't get beat across your face again. You can, like, what are you doing? Are you going the wrong? Are you stepping with the wrong foot and forgetting what you're supposed to be doing? Or are you just getting beat like that? They had a couple plays like that against the Raiders, but luckily, we made up for it. But I don't know what's going on with Jurgens because I like Jurgens. The first year Jurgens was a full-time starter, you never heard his name. And I was like, this dude is stepping in for Jason Kelsey and handling business. You never heard his name. That means he's doing what he's supposed to do. No penalties, no holding, nothing like that. And it was good until it wasn't. So his rap lyrics got him traded. He'd be on Demon Time. So we'll see. But listen, man, this has been a phenomenal conversation. I like this time period. I see my numbers jumped a little bit the other day. When I went yesterday in the morning, I was right around, I think I peaked at like 37. I think today I peaked at like 56. So the numbers are a little bit better at lunchtime. Normally, during the year, when I do at lunch, I go about 45 minutes because I'm on the clock for work. So I would do live at lunch, go for about 45 minutes. And that's probably enough time to make points and have a good conversation. So I'm about to get out of here so I can get something to eat. Got a little shopping to do, got to run out and get some stuff. I appreciate you guys jumping on, man. Everybody in the chat, man. Respect. I love you. I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat. Ty ... Chris 3K, Robbie, Tiffany, Rod 8672, man. Rod, bring your friends next time, bro. Blessed by God 1169. I appreciate you. Tiff, Anthony, who was that? Ra U7E. Like that. Schoolboy. I appreciate the heat you brought today, man. Appreciate you. Notarius. Is that Notariah 4582? Appreciate that. Dagger 81703. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Ian Senior. Everybody in the chat, man. Conversation was fire today, man. And I appreciate all y'all, man. So you know what? I'm gonna do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna go at 12 o'clock again. I like this time. Let's do it again. Y'all know me. If the play works, run it till they stop it. So I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Be safe. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Am I gonna go tonight at 10:30? I don't know. See what's going on. I might. I think tonight I'm gonna do some. I might produce another video for football, but I think I got to do some. I got to jump on my pro fan hoop stuff because I got to talk about the WNBA. It's a lot of stuff going on. So I think I might do a video for the WNBA tonight on my Pro Fan Hoops channel. So make sure if you are subscribed here at Pro Fan Talk, make sure you mosey on over to YouTube, Pro Fan Hoops, and subscribe to me there. I didn't want to cross the stream, so I separated and I put all my hoop content over there. So probably be doing something for that tonight, but I will be back with Pro Fan Talk tomorrow. We're going to do this again. It's a good conversation. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day and go Birds.